Awesome.
Welcome, everybody, to Den Excelsior, the mostly Marvel podcast. This is episode 162, talking about Kraven. I'm your host, Ricky.
Kraven
With me,
the
as always,
Hunter.
Dennis. Back to our guest rotation, friend of the show, Ian.
Hello. Thanks for having me back.
We used to have way more spectacular introductions than this, but
Yeah.
we didn't.
That's okay. Simplified flow is
We
We
could,
didn't even leave him in the green room or anything. We just like showed up right away. We're like,
hey,
this is gonna be
you're
it.
in, you're on. People, I mean, historically, people listen to this show. They don't watch it, so.
That's true.
That is
That's
true.
Yeah.
I do listen to you guys a lot.
Oh.
That's cute. We appreciate it. So just to be clear, there have been 3 Sony Spider-Man-less movies that have come out this year. I have taken Ian on that journey with me for all 3 of them. And
It has been a journey.
And they have,
that's for sure.
Didn't even buy him dinner.
They have disappointed in special ways. I bought him popcorn last time.
That's true.
He bought me food this time. It just became a tradition, and so like I gave Ian plenty of head notice like weeks ago. I was like, "Are we doing this? And are you gonna come talk about this with us?" Because I don't like. That's my thing. Like these Spider-Man movies. Traditionally, Ricky is just like they're fine. They're fine. And I can't just like, don't get me wrong. It's a more nuanced answer. I'm not saying I hate them, but it's way more nuanced than they're fine. And so I'm really happy that this time around for the 3rd one, we got somebody else to come and talk about it, because I can't sit here 3 times with Ricky and just be like,
Ian's going to say it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. If I say it's fine, it's like very much in the like Ross from Friends. I'm fine. It's fine. It's fine.
We were on a break.
Yeah.
Well,
I definitely have feelings about the spider journey this year, or spider-less journey, I guess it should be.
Yes. Yeah. But we can talk about that later. What do you want to talk about right now, Ricky? What kind of stuff you've been
nerding what have I been nerding out on? Well, we took your recommendation and watched what's the Ted Danza show? The
Ted Danson,
the old people.
A Man on the Inside.
Yes, that show's fun.
It's
fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's cute.
It's very heartwarming.
Yeah, I like some of the stuff they navigate. End of life. People near the end of their life and their perspective on life. It's kind of a neat story to tell, and they make it. It's funny, but also punch you in the gut. Some of those episodes with the feels.
The first episode really conjures the movie Up for me. The first few minutes of Up, but I wouldn't say it does it as effectively as Up does.
No,
I'm not ready for that.
You don't see the dead wife.
Yeah, exactly. But they try with one scene or with 2 scenes to give you that feeling in a short amount of time. Up is a movie.
Right.
This was like 1 episode trying to catch you up, and but it definitely, I got the vibes. I was like, okay, I see where we're going here, and it's I wasn't ready for it, but let's go. And then I think the rest of the show does a great job of just kind of like you said, Ricky, like really tackling a subject matter that we don't see a lot on TV. And
I mean, you don't see a lot of older people on TV for an extended period of time.
Yeah,
they're usually the side characters and not the main focus of the show.
Did you finish it?
Selena's finishing it right now, so
okay. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but I mean, the cliffhanger is really cool.
They get young again.
It's a cool way to do a second season that you may or may not see coming. So it's the creators of The Good Place, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Parks and Recreations. So if you like any of these shows, you're gonna like.
We're actually going through Parks and Rec right now again too, and the show's. I mean, the show's still good. The show still hits.
It is
so good.
Yeah.
It's wild sometimes when you're watching it and you're just looking like, damn, these people got famous.
They got very famous.
Very famous very quickly.
Very. Like pretty much everybody on that show has gone on to do great things. You know, like you can't say that about like The Office. Like it's not exactly. It's not like that. You know what I mean? Like and back then when Parks and Rec came out, it very much was looked at as an Office clone. You know what I mean? But
that's
it had
the same people. That's The Office.
What's that?
Or no? It's the same people.
No,
it's
not.
I thought there was
That's what I'm saying.
lineage there.
No, it's just it was on TV at the same time as The Office.
It's a ripoff.
It's
kind of an Office ripoff. Yeah,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It kind of was seen that way, but it has so much more heart in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. I'm happy you got to know on that.
Forget like Severance season 2 starts up like in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, or is it 2 and 3 years? 2 or 3 years? I can't.
No, it's season 2 is like out next month.
I'm saying like that show has gone the longest ever between seasons. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's so long. Like TV is such a different thing nowadays. Now, don't get me wrong. I really love the quality of programming that we get nowadays.
Will that make you get Apple? Wait, have you've seen Severance, right?
I watched Severance. I told you.
But you haven't had Apple TV before.
I will do a free month of Apple when this season 2 of Severance ends.
Okay.
I will then watch it. I will then. We've been waiting for Severance.
Just watch Smigadoon. You watch Severance and Smigadoon.
I already watched Smigadoon.
Oh,
I watched it last time. It's all right.
I gotta start up Silo. That's my next.
Yeah, see, I'll do a bunch. I'll just pick a month next year where it's just Apple, and I'll watch everything. But I'm not gonna. Some street. Look, dude, it's all a scam, man. All these streaming apps found a way to recharge you for cable all over again.
Yeah,
and it's so much more expensive.
You know,
so
when you buy your phone, you get Apple TV. So it's like.
Yeah, that's the only reason I have all these shows on it is because my phone gave it to me for free.
Yeah, you spend $1,000 every year, and then they give you free TV.
They give you free TV.
Yeah. What's the deal?
Phone every year, Jesus Christ.
Every other year. Yes.
I go 3.
Yeah,
I touch it every day. I want a cool thing. That's how I justify.
Fair enough.
When it starts to run slow after their updates, then I know that it's time.
That's when I'll do it.
That's usually around 3 years.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years it's a good cycle. I like 2 because I can resell my phone for more than half the cost. You know, it has decent value still. After 3 years, might as well just burn it. Like there's no give it to your worth.
Give it to your dog. It's this play toy.
Ian, what have you been nerding out on this week? This got weird.
Oh man,
now we're talking about.
I don't know. I finished up the Penguin. We kind of went into that one late, so wrapped that one up, and very happy with that show. That the whole Matt Reeves Bat verse is game on. I'm in. I'm there. I like all of it. Yeah, we rewatched Batman around Halloween, so it was like we kind of did that, and then we had a gap because we were a little busy, and then when the wife finished up her busy season, we were like, all right, let's do this Penguin thing. So we knocked it out pretty quick.
Quick question. What's better, X-Men 97 or the Penguin?
Oh, that's not a fair question. Oh man.
That wasn't my question.
I'm gonna say the Penguin.
Wow.
It was a good show.
The thing is with drawing, you can draw whatever you want. With the Penguin, you have to be on screen and you have to perform, and they performed. There was some performances in that show.
Colin Farrell in the suit is pretty crazy.
Colin Farrell in the suit and Christina was just fantastic. Just owned every scene.
I think I asked Ricky that question last time we were talking about Penguin, and he went with X-Men 97.
Yeah,
and I was pretty surprised, but I was happy with that answer because I think the Penguin did its thing. I think it did its thing. I just think it's what the thing was that it did was such a smaller scale than what X-Men 97
yes,
did. I think the stories they chose to tell, like, really, I felt those all year long, man.
I was going to say there was more payoff to the X-Men stories. There was more delivery because they were following off of all these. Like,
that Magneto was right thing has felt very relevant all year long, man.
The bar, they cleared the bar so much higher on X-Men, I feel. And not to say that the Penguin didn't clear the bar.
Right,
but,
right.
You know,
when I ask the question, I'm not asking you to like kill one and marry the other. Okay, like
you have to choose.
I am asking that question because I think those are two of the best shows that we got this year, especially in superhero in the superhero world. You know what I mean? We got spoiled for sure. We got a lot of other good ones besides those, but I think those are like the cream of the crop for this year, right? Like that, like I can say that at the end of the day, like Agatha was really fun, but I think that Penguin nailed that landing really good.
I don't think that cool. Like I think Agatha was a really fun series, and it was I'd love to see the characters again. I'd love to see more out of it. I'd love to see where they want to take it if they want to do more. But I think like there was just more gravity and weight and things coming off of Penguin, because I think it's partly because it feeds into another movie, it feeds into a universe. So I feel like you're going to get more of these characters. You're going to see more of this. You just got a world that kind of exploded bigger than, and also left you in a state of very interesting Bat universe at the end of the show because the mob scene is dead. Well, not. Well,
I do think
the mob scene is dead.
I do think that show does a really bad job at depicting a Gotham City that's like protected by Batman.
Yes, that was going to be my question.
No, that's very true.
How many episodes did you start to wonder, like, man, Batman should show up now?
Yeah, no, there was many episodes where I was like, hey, I feel like that might blip on his radar a little bit, but at the same time, the way I look at it is like this. This is kind of sometimes how I kind of look at Batman when he doesn't show up to things. And this isn't just in those the movies, but it's on his, even on the shows and in the cartoons and things. And there's always villainy happening that he's not there for. He comes in, to usually stop it, but he's not there during the planning. I mean, if he could stop it at the planning stage, it'd save a lot of trouble and death and stuff. But I think it's, what the key with, Batman is that there's a lot of city, there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of things happening. If he's over here and something's happening over here, that takes time. He's got to travel. He's got to choose which is the more dire situation. If Oswald's dealing some drugs and Joker's blowing up like a city block
got blown up, man. A city block got blown up in that show.
At that stage, I feel like
an entire city
give the
block.
mayor the phone and we're good.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that in X-Men 97, they did show what the other superheroes were up to, just like
they weren't doing shit.
Right, they weren't doing shit, but they were still there, right? They were there. And so you got to see, like, oh, okay, so the X-Men are going to save the day again. All right, let's do this. But I at least appreciate that. I think that's why one of the reasons I give that show the edge is it actually did a better job of reminding you the world that it lives in.
Right.
Whereas I think the Penguin started in a really good way by reminding you of the world it lives in, but the longer it went on, the more detached it felt from the world that it was supposed to be in. I was like, something's wrong here, but I still love it.
I feel like it would have been nice to have it. I mean, the way that it ended was. I really liked the last episode specifically, but I would have liked to maybe have an episode that, or at least a couple scenes that just kind of showed some of the other, like connected a little bit to more of what was going, some of the weirder Gotham and some of the other things going on out there. And the other thing, like I feel like they did a good job of showing the less fortunate areas of the city and stuff, but I don't know that I fully felt the post city flooding like
It looked a little too nice.
It looked like it was like, you know, it looked a little less flooded, and
should be a lot more black mold after that whole incident.
Yeah, it looked a little nicer than I expected it to after that. But I was a little more going like, you know, No Man's Land or like, you know, like kind of, you know, like I was expecting to see at least some area that was just really like messed up, and it didn't fully give that.
I feel you.
But, yeah.
Well, I appreciate the way you answered that question, because I've definitely heard that question answered in less thoughtful ways that really they make me feel like, are you sure? Like, I met somebody at a market previously that was like trying to explain to me like they're looking at all of my toy photography, and they're like, have you seen the penguin? I'm like, do I look like somebody who has not seen the penguin? Like,
yeah, right.
Do I really like? But he's like, Joe, what do you think? Was that like the best thing on TV? I'm like, not even by a mile, sir.
Ruin his day.
Oh yeah, the best part was like he then began to tell me like how his favorite superhero movie ever is the Snyder cut of Justice League. Oh. He's like, all 4 hours of it, I love it. I watch it all the time, bro. And I'm like, oh wow, okay.
It is the better movie.
It's not good. It's not good.
I didn't say it's the better movie.
It is the better movie. I mean, out of the two options of the cuts,
it's not good. But I sat there patiently waiting because I was like, I could tell this guy was really into my art and stuff. And then once he had completed the sale, bought all the things that he liked of mine, I was like, is the sale done? And he's like, yeah, I got it. I was like, cool. That movie you love, absolute trash. I can't stand it so much. And then he's like, really? What don't you like? What don't you like about it? And the rapid fire laundry list that I gave him was bringing a smile to his face. He was actually quite amused by all the things I had ready to say about that movie.
I was just gonna say, if you have a tally that you're ready to just drop on him, there's serious hate there, and that's allowed.
Yeah, but
you can.
But he wasn't upset, and he was still happy with the purchase. So I'm good with it. I'm good with it. You know, yeah, it's fun. Have you guys been enjoying Marvel Rivals that came out on Friday last week? Right after our
show. Yeah, we were talking about it before the show. It's Overwatch with Marvel.
It is so Overwatch.
That's the hottest it takes. It's the hottest it takes right there, guys.
It is. It is very. I mean, I like the art style a lot. Each character looks really cool. I spent more time on the hero screen than I actually probably have in the game.
I've spent more time on the Rule 34 than the actual game.
But there's I don't know. The gameplay itself is something that I don't feel it's wholly original, but I think I need time to explore the different characters. There's 33 of them, which I'm used to games launching with 12.
Yeah,
but I question this because I'm getting kind of tired of everybody saying it's Overwatch. Like, let's be honest here, guys. What games are original nowadays?
Oh, none.
Yeah,
I mean, every 2 years you get something.
Astrobot won Game of the Year, right?
Yeah,
Astrobot is not an original game.
No.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Is every 2 to 4 years you get something wholly new and original. You get a Souls, or you get something that kind of defines the next few years as far as copy. And Overwatch definitely set the bar for the hero shooter, the genre, but I don't feel like it's, I don't think that it is wholly original either. I mean, we were doing some of those things before in other games.
Yeah. So, but I think it just does a good job of borrowing a lot of the play styles of Overwatch characters.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it gets and a lot of the flash too, right?
There's a secret sauce that I think it's missing. I think it'll come. I've started playing more ranked, and that seems to kind of alleviate some of my matchmaking concerns. It's just people playing with unorganized people, but versus playing with organized people. It's like a different game almost.
Okay.
But I think even with that, some of the stuff like Overwatch has where you can lock roles, or everyone can't be a tank. That's kind of a cool thing that the game allows, but
yeah,
it's
I think it's what makes this game better than Overwatch, honestly.
I think if you want to take a game in the direction of Overwatch and turn it into an esports game, you have to do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I think that files away some of the raw chaos and fun that early Overwatch had.
And celebrating the Marvel Universe, right? Like I think celebrating the Marvel Universe is to allow people to bring whatever combination of strategists and duelists and vanguards that you want, right? Like I think, and it also allows you to pivot in cool ways, right? Like when you see,
but if you don't know what you're doing initially, when you do those pivots to either stack tanks or go all healers or any mix of those, you end up having like a suboptimal experience,
right? But that's if you don't know, right?
Yeah, it can leave you with a bad taste in the mouth. You got to kind of gatekeep some things to let people experience the synergies.
I think they just need to have a better onboarding process, like a better tutorial process. But I don't think becoming Overwatch in every way ever is the thing that's going to benefit this game the most. You know what I mean? I think they've already siphoned a majority of their players, like especially the content creators that were doing Overwatch. So many people have left it for this.
They're all over.
It's pretty sad, but hey, that's games, man. That's what happens. That's what happens.
You move to the new fresh thing,
exactly.
That's the industry. That a game that's 6 months old is like old. So.
Speaking of new fresh things, you got any for us, Ricky?
I do. Let's get into some news.
Love those drums.
All right. Leading off with some DC news this week. We actually talked about this a month or two ago, but the Clayface movie officially greenlit with Mike Flanagan writing the script.
We did not talk about this a month ago because this wasn't news. What we talked about
was rumor.
No, what we were talking about was Alan Tudyk is playing.
We talked about that too.
Clayface in Creature Commandos at some point. We haven't gotten there.
Nice.
There's 3 episodes out now. We will be talking about that later today as well. But that was all I knew about. So I didn't know that he was doing a movie. And then when I found out about it, I was like, ugh. And then they said Mike Flanagan. And I was like, huh?
Well, to be fair,
I figured
it's all we know is a Clayface movie is going to be written. Whether it ties into the Batman universe, the DC universe, or it's its own thing, that's to be determined. They have gone on record in saying that they're not opposed to doing Elseworld stories like the Batman. So,
I mean, it's a little getting ahead of ourselves here, but I mean, yes, the Penguin was cool, but we just watched Kraven today, okay? Maybe we don't need to do so many villain movies that don't include the hero
that's true.
Famous for fighting. You know what I mean? I think the Penguin found a way to fit in between. But you know why we I know why I forgave the Penguin for not having Batman in it is because we already saw Batman kick his ass. You know what I mean? We got to see that already, and so now it's what's he go do after he got his ass kicked by Batman? And that's fine. I'm fine with that story, but I don't want to keep watching movies like The Joker or Madam Web or Morbius and stuff where it doesn't have anything to do with the thing.
But you will.
I have not seen Only I Do still. I have not seen it.
But you will.
You will this weekend.
You will eventually.
When it's on Max, you'll watch it.
Again, it's going to be on Max again for the second time.
It's already been there. I think it's on, coming on tonight.
Max,
yeah. I don't
I'm going to watch it.
I mean, it took me years to watch Venom 2. Years.
But you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it for this, you know what I mean? for this. I did it for you so that you don't
Time heals all wounds.
I don't know. I think
not all wounds.
I think a Clayface movie, I mean, Mike Flanagan being attached is already like intriguing to say the least. But if done as like a body horror movie,
Mike Flanagan done? Remind me.
Mike Flanagan's my favorite horror director.
Yeah, yeah. Dennis, go ahead. House on Haunted.
The Haunting of Hill House, the Haunting of Bly Manor, the Fall of the House of Usher. All those Netflix miniseries. Midnight Mass.
Where did Doctor Sleep? I like Doctor Sleep.
He did Doctor Sleep. He did Oculus.
Ouija.
Ouija 2, not Ouija 1. 2. Ouija 2 is badass. That movie is good.
He's
Ouija
doing
1,
the next
not so much.
Exorcist?
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff based on Stephen King.
VHS Beyond.
Or he does a lot of stuff that
I like VHS.
Feels like
okay, I'm down. Sure.
Yeah, so like if he, I mean, I'm intrigued because he's already somebody that I like. So if you do Clayface right, if you do Clayface like a body horror film or something like that, you could do some cool stuff. He's a very sympathetic type of character. If you know in his story, so like that you could find an angle to do something cool with it. But I also agree with you, Dennis, where it's like at a certain point we're doing so much to try to make these villains not fully the worst, but also like enough to get people to go see them in a theater.
Yeah,
like that. You know, you kind of like soften the edges a little bit. Or
you know what comics I wasn't buying back in the day? Joker, Penguin, Clayface. Screw that. Mostly because they didn't exist most of the time. There were little miniseries every now and then of those, but I still wasn't buying them because I didn't care. Like that's not the part I care about. The part I care about is how they relate to Batman. You know,
the film has a release 9/11/2026.
Oh, we don't even care anymore, huh? 9/11 is not even a thing anymore in pop culture.
No, we're past that now.
Time heals all wounds, apparently.
25 years is the time.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like Batman is the reason that is Batman so great is that he's, you know, you would flip in, you know, each issue you'd get a new story and you'd get one of those freaks. You'd get one of those weirdos, but then it would be something different the next time. Like you would move on from them. You wouldn't be spending a large amount of time with them.
Right.
That's what was unique and interesting. They were like peeks into these weirdos and these things, but it wasn't like you were just spending time getting to know.
You're supposed to get them in doses.
Getting to know Joker. You know, I don't want to know Joker. I'm good. I'm good knowing just enough.
you gotta get them in doses. I think the context always matters. Now, I'm not gonna do the thing I did with Agatha and say, no, this is gonna be stupid. Just don't even do it. It's got Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan don't mess around. He does pretty good stuff. So I'm gonna trust in him to give me a good horror story that's with Clayface. I just don't know. I wish that the like pop culture wasn't in a spot right now where the studios feel like they have to do a story that ties into a comic book in order for it to be successful. Because I feel like there is, like, for example, Shape of Water just dared to be its own thing. It could have easily been an Abe Sapien spin-off movie, right? It really could have been.
100%.
Like, it's essentially
we could have spun it that way. Creature of the Black Lagoon, you could have made it official in that, right?
But I'm saying literally it's the actor who played Abe Sapien playing a different character that pretty much looks like Abe Sapien. That's what I mean. It's like, and it's the same director. You know what I mean? He could have done it. He just had this, like, he clearly got this itch from doing the Hellboy movies where it's like, I kind of want to do this thing where, like, Abe Sapien gets laid, you know, like, and like, I think there's a story there, you know, and it's cool, but like, I respect that they just chose to do it as its own story. Now, I'm like, what I'm saying is, like, you could do a Clayface movie about a person that has this weird thing, that's just not even named Clayface, and I could be fine with it. You know, like I think a lot of the times my hang up is, why did you have to call it that? Because if you didn't call it that, I would have been fine with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think, you know, the argument is so obvious. The reason you do it is the money, right? Like that Joker movie is just, it's so many movies we've seen before, but it's called Joker. And that's why it's so special. You know what I mean? Even if it's not the Joker that we read in the comic books, it meant something to audiences. It's a brand recognition. And so, yeah, I just feel like if it's going to be called Clayface, do me a favor and put Batman in the story. Like, just put him in it. That's all I've been saying for the last. When did Venom come out?
Best we can do is Batgirl.
When did Venom come out? Sure, Batgirl. Do Batgirl. That's fine too. But like Venom came out like what, 6 years ago, 8 years ago. And like I'm still standing on the same soapbox after all these years.
I mean, he looked at Spider-Man. Oh. He's aware. he looked at him.
He did.
Man, you got me there, Ricky. You got me there.
At least does he have beef? No, but he looked at him.
At least he looked at him. But like, I can't say the same about Morbius or Madam Web or Kraven the Hunter, and it's just like, at least just acknowledge that these things.
Morbius is aware of a Spider-Man.
Morbius is aware that there's a spider guy because the Vulture shows up at the end and out of nowhere, and he's like, "Hey, you want to team up? This may or may not happen 8 years from now."
Well, let's move on for something that's happening in a couple of years. Chris Evans, he's coming back.
Oh boy,
Chris Evans is going to appear in Avengers Doomsday, along with probably everyone else who's been in these movies before.
At this point,
I mean, like, I assume they're all coming back.
They're coming.
I've heard spoilers already about Fantastic Four.
They're coming back. Yeah, they're already signed for sure.
I meant like the other characters appearing in Fantastic Four.
Oh. I don't think it's a spoiler to assume that a Doctor Doom will appear in that movie.
No, that's not the spoiler I'm talking about.
Oh.
That if you don't know it, then I don't want to spoil it.
I want to know it. Can you whisper it?
The guy who played Mr. Fantastic in the previous movies is making an appearance in the Fantastic Four.
Sure. They're going to do it. They were going to do the council. Yeah, they would.
The Council of Reeds is happening, and it's going to be.
That's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm not mad. I'm not mad, Chris Evans. Hey, it's your body, your choice. Do what you want with it. Like, if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to get buff again and go do Captain America stuff and get paid, do it. Like, I'm not mad. Like, the reality is, like, we only have so much time on this earth with these people. So if they want to keep doing it, that's cool. As long as it's fun. As long as it's fun for them and it doesn't feel like a chore. You know what I mean? Like, the second I start seeing people like being like ADR'd all the way to hell because they weren't delivering the line as good as they should have been in the moment. And so they had to go back, and I'm just talking about Kraven again. Like, it's just like, you can tell when people want to be there and when they don't. And so far in the MCU, most of the time it feels like they want to be there. Sometimes you get a vibe and you're like, yeah, are you just doing this for the check? So I hope Avengers Doomsday is the joyous experience that they're selling it to be, that we all want to have. But like,
I'm sure they're all getting paid handsomely.
Yeah, I'm sure that is true.
You show up for a few days and have fun.
But you know, like, it's hard for me to get excited about this because it's like, I would rather have just found out in the movie. But you know, we're gonna know everybody in those movies.
Yeah, I mean, this movie
years
real starts filming in like a few months. So
Avengers Doomsday does.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They're Tom Holland's like going crazy because he's doing Doomsday, Spider-Man, next Avengers, Spider-Man. Like it's nonstop for like the next year.
Wow.
But you know what is stopping? It's relevant because we're talking about it today. The larger Sony Spider-Man Universe is ending, at least for now. So aside from Beyond the Spider-Verse, Beyond the Spider-Verse Part 2, which seems to be like in production hell because no one knows when that movie's coming out.
Yes.
And the upcoming Tom Holland Spider-Man. There's nothing else. No Madam Web, no Sinister Six, no Kraven 2, no Venom 4.
How do you feel about that, Ian?
I feel okay with that, honestly. I say it from the perspective of like, we're getting more Tom Holland. We got a couple more, big Avengers and Marvel movies to get more Tom Holland. And at this point, I feel like at that point, we're going to end up, I think, being at that stage where we need a little spider break. Mm-hmm. And then we can maybe revisit again. And if we're going to revisit, or if we're going to get more Spider anytime before a sort of reboot or something further down the line, then it better be Miles. Better damn well be live action Miles, and don't come at me if you don't bring that to the screen, because at this point I think that's the way to do more Spider-Man and do it fresh. Not that it's, I mean, you still obviously have the whole Spider-Verse to pull from, mm-hmm. but if you're going to go live action, then give me a good Miles.
I do feel like if the assignment is they have to do one Spider-Man movie every 3 years, that's
something like that.
That's the rule, right? I think they went and did way too much extra credit this year, like way too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're banking on, right?
It's still COVID related, a lot of this, right? Stuff got pushed back for a minute, stuff got put on ice for a minute.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, you have actors locked down for, like shit. You had Sydney Sweeney locked down for a movie post Euphoria peak, right? Like, you got to get that shit done, or then, like, you can't wait on that.
Yeah,
true.
I mean,
because they're going to blow up, and then they'll be too big.
Like, stock is only increasing though right now. So what I'm saying is, you probably could have sat on one of the 3 movies that came out this year, just to roll the clock, to start the clock a year later. Like what? Like, why did we burn 3 off to this year?
You burned Venom. Like, I don't think you could have sat on Venom because Tom Hardy's the producer on that one, right? So
that's fine. Then do Venom.
Incentive for Venom. Madam Web.
Madam Web could have come out next year.
Madam Web was supposed to come out last year.
Sure, but it could have come out anytime. The movie takes place in the 90s anyway, so what does it even matter?
It's true.
It doesn't even matter.
Kraven was supposed to come out like a year ago, right?
Something like that, yeah.
They got pushed for like a whole year, so it was like
they redid the last half of that movie.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll save that for later, but the fact that it came out a year later than it should have, mm-hmm. you could have pushed Madam Web, out another year, and nobody would have lost anything. Honestly, if anything, you would have probably been better off by saving that Sydney Sweeney for when her stock had gotten a little bigger. Like, you have that in pocket. You can hold it out over her. You come back for another movie. Or
what's her name from Aliens or Alien Romulus? She's in that movie too.
Oh yeah,
she's Hawk Girl in Superman.
Okay,
Isabella something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Isabella something.
The stock's going up. It's not there yet.
That's true. That's true.
But you know what I mean? There was not a reason that we needed all 3 of these movies this year. No. And I think they are the nail in the coffin, right? Is because each one underperformed way below expectations, to the point where Kraven's the only one that might actually perform as expected. because they projected it so low. Yeah. Like when I was trying to buy tickets for us, I thought there was something wrong with the system because it was only in one theater at my local theater. Like, and it's like there's aren't there like 16 screens on that?
Yeah, 18.
18, and there was
3
one
people
theater
in my screening.
There was like 7 in ours,
yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
a few.
But that's what I'm saying. The analysts were already picking this movie to be really bad this weekend, and so the theaters were actually listening this time around. Because remember, Madam Web had way too many screens.
Yeah, that was a fun Valentine's movie. It was.
I'm so glad you're here, Ian. I'm so glad you're here. I'm tired of this. It's fine crap.
It's fun. It's not fine. Fine. It's not fun.
I mean, it's a fun hate watch. It's a fun to like rip apart, but it was not. I
got the Madam Web cocktail, while I was watching it, drinking or eating some popcorn. It was a good time.
That was some of the worst line reads I've literally ever heard in a movie.
To circle back, Ricky. Mm-hmm. I do not mourn the death of this universe, if that is what this is.
What's your favorite Sony Spider-Man Universe of Spider-Man characters movie? Spunky or whatever.
Venom 3.
Ian?
Venom 3 because it dared to just build off the stupidness of the first two, and it really was dialed into how dumb and wacky that universe had become. And so, yeah, do I think it's a good Venom movie? No, but I think it's like a good Venom movie like that. Like, I think it's great for whatever that guy is. Like, I don't like to call him Venom. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what he is, but Eddie and Friend. Yeah. Eddie and Friend, like
Black Goo and Eddie.
Yeah.
For me, I think if I had to pick one, I would probably just pick the first Venom. I think there's just a sort of rawness to Tom Hardy's performance in it that I totally was into. And I enjoyed all of the Venom movies because I enjoy Tom Hardy, and I specifically he brought a chaos to it, a pathos a little bit to the character that I just kind of liked and enjoyed. But I think the first Venom, it set a tone for the rest of the movies, the Venom movies that I felt like I was happy with.
But I think we can safely agree that whether or not we're debating about which one's on top, is it safe to say that Venom 1 and Venom 3 are the two best ones out of the 6 movies?
No, hands down.
Hands down. You haven't seen Venom 3?
No.
Venom 2 is kind of rough. Venom 2 is a little rough. It's rocky.
Venom 2's got a couple uneven points.
El Muerto was supposed to come out like this month, starring Bad Bunny.
Thank God this universe is dead, dude.
Yeah, I'm good with us not going to that.
I think I would go Venom 1. Venom 1's solid. It stayed in its lane. They gave reasons why there's not a Spider. Oh, didn't give reasons, but it makes sense why Spider-Man's not doing his thing. Right?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
They're in San Francisco. Spider-Man doesn't live there.
Spider-Man, I've seen him go to like London. I've seen him go to Italy.
Nah,
I've seen Spider-Man he went to Washington D.C. in his first movie.
He did.
That guy gets around, all right? Like that's that's why you got to invent the night monkey, all right? Like he's got to be a different thing.
No night monkey in San Francisco. I don't know why Ant-Man couldn't show up. Or Shang-Chi, but all right, we're running behind, but I want to run through all these toys. So I'm gonna need your help.
Right. Okay, cool. I'll try my best.
These are all the Marvel Legends that got announced in the last week. I think there was a fan stream and a convention that had announcements. So let's run through them.
Let's go. I want to see them too. It might be new
Spider-Man Unlimited.
Oh, sweet Jesus, that's
getting
awesome.
A figure.
Awesome and terrible at the same time.
It is. I love it. I hate it.
What's that, Ricky?
Just like the show.
Wow. Yes, just like the show. It's a brand new body of Agent Venom. He also comes with a sweet Flash Thompson head.
This is the second Agent Venom, right? We've had one before.
An Agent Venom figure, but it's a much better figure than the old one. The old one's got some rough rough.
This is
Spider Boy,
a new character, right?
This
Spider Boy
actually has come out in the comics in the last year. It's a Dan Slott run.
Fresh.
Yeah, he's also got a face with a vampire teeth or fangs. I don't know if they're vampires, but
Electro.
Lady Electro.
Lady Electro. I like that.
It's like his daughter, his wife, or is it just like a fan?
I don't remember, honestly. Like it got me on the spot here. Can't remember.
I like that she's owning the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Working that Family Connect.
It's Kane.
Ooh. Kane.
It's
I don't know who Kane is. He's got a pink cape.
He's one of the clones of Peter Parker.
He's a bad guy for Spider-Man Unlimited?
No, he's from the comics. He's one of the clones.
Yeah,
he's from the clone. He's from the Clone Saga.
Ben Reilly's the other clone. Not Ben
Riley's clone. He's like the evil. He's like the evil one that eventually gets kind of redeemed, like Darth Vader kind of thing. Like
that hair.
Kane is the one who becomes the Scarlet Spider, the red.
The hoodie guy.
No. The current one. You know the suit that you can get in Marvel Rivals on PlayStation right now?
Oh, the black and red one? Yeah.
That one, and he's got spikes that come out of his hands or his wrist.
Okay. Yeah,
that's Kane. That's Kane. Yeah. But this is Kane in the 90s. This is what he looked like in the 90s.
This is Chameleon. Kraven's Chameleon.
Nice.
Yes. It is the animated series version of Chameleon. It looks like the animated series version of Chameleon, but I don't know what else to say. Looks like him. Oh my god!
Nice.
You know, when I was doing a cleaning house of all my toys, I prematurely got rid of my Ultimate Wolverine toy because it is hands down one of the worst Marvel Legends ever made. I dare you to look it up, Ricky, and see what that thing looks like. It
looks gross.
So terrible that
I've seen it. Yeah.
I'm so happy this exists now. This brand new version of that figure that was just an abomination. Cool.
Ooh. Fancy.
Fabian Cortez. This is an acolyte from the Jim Lee run of X-Men. It's one of Magneto's acolytes on Asteroid M. He's like the one that overthrows Magneto. That is Husk. Another X-Men character.
What's she holding?
I think she like peels parts of herself off.
Fleshiness.
Yeah. That's a sick ass Gambit. That's a Age of Apocalypse Gambit, right?
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yep.
That's
good. I like that.
Nice boots.
Ooh, Marrow. That's a classic from the 90s.
Those bones coming out of her?
That's what she does. She shoots out bones.
Yep.
Yeah. That is beautiful. That is
Cyclops. Age of Apocalypse? X Factor?
X Factor Cyclops, yeah.
I like the little pursed lips thing he's got going on there. That's nice.
I don't like that yellow in his armpit. That is gross looking, but whatever.
Gotta live with it.
Wow.
X-Force Nightcrawler. I think he's the only one that did not have an X-Force costume in the toys. So yeah, it's about time. That's awesome.
Now the Build-A-Fig.
That is a redo. Cool. That's a redo, a big time redo. It almost makes me not want to throw out the old one. The old version of Nemesis looks very different than this. This is a very nice looking figure, though, I will say.
Does he have a different name in the comics?
He back in the day, he was called Holocaust.
Okay.
And then they decided, for many obvious reasons, we should probably rename this character. And so at some point...
Is he a bad guy?
Yes.
How did that happen? Like, he's like, hey, guys... My name is Nemesis.
He's one of Apocalypse's generals in the Age of Apocalypse.
Oh, so he's a mutant?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think he's one of Apocalypse's sons in that story. I can't remember. He looks cool. All right, let's move on. I don't want to talk about his name anymore. Look at that. It's a toy we probably should have gotten 4 years ago.
Or 3 years. They already came out with this guy. No, there hasn't been a.
There is a version of the lizard from Amazing Spider-Man,
a little lighter green.
It came out many, many years ago, but this is definitely a new version of that toy. It looks good for that lizard. He looks like him.
He does.
You're just missing a Jamie Foxx, and you got a Sinister Five.
You are correct. They actually already have made a Jamie Foxx toy before, though.
Oh, Marvel. A new Jamie Foxx.
Yes, they need a new one.
Yeah, without the blue and with the yellow.
Oh, sweet sassy Molassy. That is the Professor X I've dreamed of right there. It's him in his green jumpsuit, standing around, no wheelchair. It's his famous look from most episodes of the cartoon, where he's out and about with the X-Men. Like, yeah, he wears the suit and tie at home, but like when he's out on the field, this is the jumpsuit he's wearing. So
that's what, I will say, that's what pissed me off about the quick snippet in Multiverse of Madness, where they're on Titan with Professor X, and he's in a suit.
He's rocking the suit.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you went to space in the suit?
Yeah. No, I know.
Hey, it's a space suit.
I am digging this.
Come on.
This is a nice outfit. Just to be clear, I see you, Hank Pym figure. This is the complete Hank Pym
Wonder Man figure.
No, this is a Hank Pym figure. This is they did a 6-pack or 5-pack last year.
Yeah.
Original, like the old school
West Coast
Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And Hank Pym is wearing this it's the same mold, but in a red suit.
Right.
So it's cool. I get it. It's
and
fine.
the last toy to round this out.
Woo! 1977?
Wow.
Yep. Spider-Man.
77 Spider-Man.
That little symbol's pretty good.
I like the goggles on that.
I like the goggles too. Yeah,
that's good.
The little tinier.
I mean, at this point, they're just trying to do the entire damn Spider-Verse. Like
do you think we ever get a Lou Ferrigno Hulk Legends?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna get that one day.
That'd be awesome.
There's just no way at this point that we're not gonna get everything. As long as Hasbro can keep charging you $80 million for these toys, like. They'll do it. Like, I don't see an end in sight unless we break out in war.
Hey man, and Elon Musk is talking about buying Hasbro.
I know.
Listen. Since you guys are my toy gurus, whenever they drop a Spider-Punk, you just tell me so I can go get it.
That already came out like last month.
Yeah, you're already late, dude.
Oh, son of a...
Yeah.
It came out like last month, and that's like the second one too. That's the.
I'm gonna have to go get that.
The first one came out last year. Wait, the movie came out last year, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, not even the first one. That's the first movie one came out last year. It's the one that came out last month is like the third Spider-Punk toy that exists.
All right. If my wife is watching, Christmas.
There are 3 Spider-Punk toys now.
I need those. I need them.
The third one is arguably the best one, though. It's
the most recent one.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have to look for it because I need that on my desk here.
Yeah.
All right. Is it time?
It's time.
It is time.
Well, here's my proposition so that we don't end on the worst note ever. There is another thing that came out last week that we barely missed discussing on our show. And it's going to be continuing to come out for the next few weeks. Why don't we talk about Kraven the Hunter first? And then at the end of the show, we just briefly discuss how we feel DC's Creature Commandos is going. Yes, Commandos is going. Because I think that might lighten up the conversation in a minute. Because like I could be a little salty about Kraven. And I just want to make sure that I'm reined in by myself by saying but also I watched this show that James Gunn did, you know what I mean, like, and so that's my pitch. So that said, have at it, do the Kraven stuff. Ricky, go.
Kraven the Hunter, official title, comes out today, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson. Who else in that movie?
Spoiler warning, guys.
Ariana DeBose. What the hell is that?
Academy Award winner Ariana DeBose and Academy Award winner Russell Crowe.
Yes, I was forgetting Russell Crowe's name for a minute. It's a Kraven story, origin story movie, and It's not fine. It's not fine.
There it is. There it is.
Look. The plot of this movie literally is Halle Berry's Catwoman. Like the first 10 minutes is the same goddamn movie.
No,
he gets feline blood in him.
That's not the first 10 minutes of the movie.
No, that was like an hour in.
Were you asleep?
First 20 minutes of the movie.
Dude, there's like a whole section of Kraven in a prison.
Yeah, that's the beginning.
That's like 10, 15 minutes of the movie. And then there's like a half-hour interlude where I'm like, is Aaron Taylor Johnson in much more of this movie or what?
Yeah,
like,
for real.
We do like the whole child backstory for like a half hour.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to say, I think you're trying to say that's the premise of
Catwoman. Around 45 minutes in is around where Catwoman starts.
He gets infused with the lion blood. And
I think
Calypso's,
the lion blood's fairly the important, not the important part. I think
Calypso's Percocet, and he becomes Kraven.
In theory,
I will say
not in action.
You know what? Like I'm fine with the story of it's fine for what these movies are in terms of just how not Kraven they are. It's an enjoyable movie, right? The movie's only Kraven in name. But what gets me is he's referred to as Kraven the Hunter. And I get it. He's not hunting anyone but bad guys. But the dude doesn't hunt anything in this whole fucking movie.
Not a single hunt.
There is no hunting of any animals in this movie. That's Kraven's whole thing.
He gets really pissed off at hunters in this movie.
Right? He's like anti-hunter. I think you can do the movie with him being anti-hunter, but he's got to fucking hunt something. Like
you can do it with him being anti-poacher.
Sure,
he still has to hunt.
He doesn't want to use guns, anti-gun.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, like, this reserve that he goes back to throughout the movie to like hang out in, because it's the land he owns with all these like protected animals living on it. Like, I'm pretty sure that's illegal. All right, you don't get to own those animals, bro. Like those aren't
Northern
for you.
Russia. You could do whatever you want there.
I don't think they were that land wasn't in Russia.
Like Kazakhstan.
No, I think they were going to like somewhere in Africa.
No.
His bubble house?
Oh, was it?
I thought Bubble House was in was Russia.
Yeah,
okay.
They mentioned
that's
what the bear
or nearby.
Yeah. Okay, all right, fair enough.
And to be fair, like I don't know what you expect to these movies, but you know, like what's another Spider-Man gimmick villain, right? Like
Electro,
right? But he doesn't use electricity. Like, that's kind of what's his movies with Kraven.
I thought the funniest part about Kraven in this movie is in the flashback with when him and his younger brother are talking about like how dad hunts and it shouldn't even be considered hunting, right? Because he's using guns.
Yeah.
He's like, you should only use what nature gave you.
That's fine. That's Kraven. That's some Kraven stuff.
5 seconds later, he's whipping up a nice spear to start murdering people. And then like when the emergency buttons go on in his house, all the weapons come out.
They're all knives.
He forgot. Yeah, the knives that nature gave him.
That should be your claws.
But what was disappointing in this movie is the Kraven character is just not Kraven. Like it's that's the fact. But he's surrounded by, I would consider serviceable villains, other Spider-Man villains that are doing their thing. That they are serviceable in that respect. Chameleon, for what it's worth, I'm sure it's a Chameleon origin story. He looked like Chameleon by the end. He does the voice trick. Sure, I'm sold. The Foreigner.
I thought it was funny that they didn't bother to say they were name dropping so much in this movie, Spider-Man villains, that I was like, why did you not just go the extra mile to just say who the scientist was that made you look like Chameleon at the end of the movie?
Did.
Yeah. No.
They didn't say his name. Like they said it earlier.
No, the Rhino said who the scientist was that made him look like that. And I think it's implied probably it's the same scientist that's making all these changes to people. But I just thought it was funny that it's like, you're not going to say it now. You've been name dropping this whole damn movie, guys, and you just don't want to say it now. Okay, cool.
I would have even been okay if they had if he had been they call him the Jackal or something like that, just like you had already dropped his real name, you might as well have just thrown that in there too. Go for it. At this point, if you're throwing everything into the pot, throw the name in there.
Chameleon was fine. Calypso, she was fine. She had the potion.
No,
she's fine. She did the bear.
The award winner.
She just walked over the bar that she needed to clear for that character.
The bar was romantic chemistry with Kraven.
No,
and there was zero of that.
The Foreigner's fine.
I thought have you ever read a comic with the Foreigner?
No.
Yeah, so now I don't think you're the person that gets to say it's fine.
My beef with Calypso is after she kills the Foreigner, right? She's just gone. She doesn't exist in that movie anymore.
She's gone.
And there's still 45 minutes of this movie left.
She disappears from the movie after
not to even exclude the while they're prepping for this epic battle, she somehow has this change of clothes. She does her nails in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, she went from being a character that felt the need to help this boy she found in the plains of Africa to a possibly, maybe sort of not morally upright lawyer who's okay with murdering people and totally cool with being an accomplice to murders, multiple murders. Just let me know about all the murders, please. Tell me more about murders. I'm a lawyer.
I thought the funniest part for me was okay, when she shows up, I was literally oh my God, Ian, is Ariana DeBose in this movie? What the hell? I did not know they tricked her into this. Okay. But then when Kraven shows up and starts explaining, so I kill people, I kill a lot of people and
chill through that.
And she is super chill, right? Chill. And so and I was really upset by how chill she was at first. And then I rationalized it. I was like, oh, you know what? They are a thing in the comics. These two are a romantic couple. So I guess if you're going to get there, you have to be kind of cool with the type of guy that admits to a massive amount of murders and doesn't send you, running away because of a red flag. It's not a red flag to you, I guess. It's just not. So that was my reasoning. And then I proceed to watch them interact throughout this movie. And they have the worst chemistry ever. Not once did I feel any bit of sexual tension between these two characters. And I'm now I'm questioning the logic I got here with earlier. You guys don't like each other. Sometimes you're dubbing some ADR on there that doesn't even match the lips, which tells me that you didn't record this good the first time around.
Yeah.
And so I'm just what are you just here because you're Calypso and this is a thing that exists in Kraven's world?
Yeah, he's got to populate it with his other characters.
And I will say, of all the characters in Spider-Man's universe that have a rich family history, Kraven is probably number one on the list. He actually is the half brother of Chameleon. Chameleon is the reason that Kraven hunts Spider-Man in the first place in the comics, because Chameleon was, I think, one of the first villains Spider-Man ever encountered in the comics. In the same issue as the Vulture, that comic actually had multiple stories in it, and Chameleon got his butt kicked enough times that he's hey, half brother, you want to come help me hunt this guy that's pissing me off? And then that's that's how Kraven got his crazy obsession. So that could have been a thing that still could have happened in this universe had it not died. I thought the ending of the movie was reminiscent of Shang-Chi, how Shang-Chi thought that he and his sister could finally be free of their dad's power over them. And then the sister's nah, I'm bad now.
Not.
You know, like, and that it's the same, right? Like Chameleon's like, no, screw that, I'm bad now, and I'm like, okay, I guess you're bad now. But like, I think all of the things that happen in this movie, you know, whether it be Calypso, whether it be the Foreigner, whether it be Chameleon, Rhino, like all of these things are cute, but like they don't matter out of context. Like, do you know how dumb it is to watch the Rhino be introduced and like to have so many like logical leaps like used to get him to that Rhino place of being Rhino? We had so much backstory this guy had to have, like to be justified to be this Rhino character, and then he dies, and I'm like,
kill him.
But I'm like,
Kraven exploited his like medical treatment device intake.
Oh, he really did. He really did. But I'm just like, okay, so we're not even going to pretend that one day these characters could be Spider-Man's villains.
Could all
we're not even pretending now, because now we're just killing them before he ever gets to meet Spider-Man. And that's just dumb. Like that like I was willing to pretend. I was willing to feign ignorance, you know, like I was willing to be like, okay, guys, I'll sit here with my thumb up my butt for another 5 years waiting for the possibility for Tom Holland to sign on, or Andrew Garfield, even if you want to do it that way. I don't care. Just do one of them. But when you start killing them before they ever meet Spider-Man, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What is the point of this? You know,
Garfield would have been the choice if you were to put one in. I think.
Rhino, though.
That's true. That's true. I guess that's true. He's the
but we got it. Actually, also was Alexei Sistovich in that movie too, I believe. So it's an alternate, but hey, alternate universe, whatever.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I'm just saying.
I didn't hate the way the Rhino looked, I'll say.
Yeah, no,
he looked all right.
You know, I'm not arguing that part, right? Like, I think he actually kind of looked cool. I'm saying, why are we introducing Spider-Man villains to die before they even meet Spider-Man?
No, Spider-Man didn't need to fight the Foreigner or the Rhino, or
he did need to fight the Rhino.
He did in the comics.
In the comics, in the games, come on, there's a lot of Rhino.
They all of these characters exist to serve the story of Spider-Man, and so I just have a real problem with the entire hypothesis that Sony started with, which was that, hey, maybe these characters are strong enough on their own. They are not. They're not. They're not even. Not even Venom really is. Like, Venom can be, but he should have had like a little bit of context. You know what I mean? Like, just a little. So, but like you said, he stared at Spider-Man once. So whatever. Yeah. So I think that's my big problem with this movie is like, there's a lot of dumb shit that happens. And even though all the dumb shit happens, I kept leaning over to Ian and saying, you know what? I would still forgive it all if Spider-Man just swung by. At any given time in any one of these 3 movies we saw this year, I would have forgiven all the dumb shit if they just
Peter
showed
Parker
us.
exists in one of them.
No, dude, he doesn't. He exists in a different universe.
No, he's a baby in Madam Web.
Oh my god! Yeah,
that is our.
There were like.
That's our
ethnic
Spider-Man in Madam Web.
The problem with Madam Web is all the spider people that exist before Spider-Man. Like that was just bonkers, dude. That was so many spider people that were like using the whole motif before Spider-Man.
Here's all of Spider-Man's suits.
Yeah, exactly. We've already designed them. We're just gotta wait for this kid to get about 15 years older. It's just the context always matters in any story you're trying to tell. And I think to deny or to pretend that they can exist in a world without the central protagonist of the story it's just hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. And it's especially, I think what really is telling is for all the people who don't know these characters, right? Who don't know them and go see these movies and they're like, that was okay. Or rather, more specifically, all the people that are choosing not to go see these movies because it doesn't jump off the pages to them, right? It's not pulling them in. It's not making money this weekend, right? I think it's projected to make like 13 to 15 million this whole weekend.
Yeah, it's making like $0.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Like, people aren't that dumb. Like, they know what's going on here. Like, and I think even the people like running this project that Sony's doing, like are not as inconspicuous as they think they are. It's like, it's really, it's just not working. And so that news headline you gave us earlier about saying, yeah, it's probably done. I'm fine with this. Like, I'm fine with this. But would I go buy a ticket if they suddenly surprise announce a Sinister Six movie next year? Yes, absolutely. I would still do it, because if they're really ever are down to do the thing, I will be 100% on board just to see it.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not good, I just want to see it. You know what I mean? Like,
I think about like part of why I feel like these movies didn't succeed was, they're all about villains. Sans Madam Web, but they
Venom's not a villain in at that point in his life.
Sure. And I think that's why Venom works better, is because his story is kind of existing elsewhere in a world that doesn't require him to do villainy, right?
He does eat a lot of heads, though.
Yeah, Kraven's a bad guy, and you try to make him a hero, and it's weird. Like, for better or for worse, I did appreciate like the first Joker. Granted, they try to make him heroic in like a different way, but he does some pretty heinous shit in that movie, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it works to some extent because of that, versus Kraven, where he's just like such a 180 from like what just the core pillars of what his character is. It's just like, not, if you don't call this movie Kraven the Hunter and just call it, angry man hunts, right? I'd be fine with that movie.
100%.
I would not be. I would not be, and I'll tell you why. Skip all of the Kraven, the lack of Spider-Man and the what he's not in the Kraven. The action was not stellar. There were probably 3 kills that I can think of where I was like, "Oh, that was sick."
The guy that got kicked into the tree and got split in half.
there was the guy that got the two legs split in half, bear trapped and then split in half. There was another bear trap to the head, and there was like one other like kill, I think, early in the movie where he like jacked somebody up with one of the like the teeth that he pulled out of something. Mm-hmm. And aside from that, every other kill was just kind of it didn't even feel like weighty and chunky and like raw like it should from a character like Kraven, who literally is a prime hunter. Like, it just didn't seem like the action was raw like it should have been.
But in an odd turn, I'm going to defend Ricky's statement, though. I do think, in the grand tradition of like, movies that came and breathed new life into storytelling, like, for example, like John Wick. John Wick did 2 things, right? They did balls to the wall, amazing action, but they also did like crazy world building, right? To make you interested in this world that was happening. And I think Kraven did one of those 2 things, right? Like, they actually really built out a crazy world that he lives in, right? Where he's got like, oh, by the way, my half brother, he's got this crazy power. He just goes around doing anybody's voice. He can just do the entire Sony music.
There's like pseudo magic in it. There's advanced science.
Yeah, exactly. There's all these different things going on in this world. And I think that was kind of interesting. But like, knowing that they're not going to go where it needs to go to be
Right.
truly interesting is frustrating. But to Ricky's point, had it not been called Kraven the Hunter, I think I could have enjoyed it more, because then I wouldn't be sitting around wondering, what are you getting to? What are where are you going with this?
Put on the fucking best. Like what's gonna wear the lion?
I told you, yeah, exactly. I was so happy when he wore the leopard pants, right? I was like, oh, he wore the pants. I guess I'm happy.
He wore the pants.
You know what I mean? So, like it sets it sets expectations that cannot be fully delivered on, right? So we decided to accept the bare minimum. We accepted the pants, and we said, okay, if you're not going to give us Spider-Man, you better at least wear the lion fur coat, right? Like wear the lion coat. Just wear the lion coat. Just do that.
He did.
You're not going to hunt anybody in this goddamn movie, so at least wear the goddamn coat. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where we were. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Like it's when you make it about being a recognizable property, then your only job, they think, is to succeed in delivering moments that make you say, oh, that looks like the thing I know.
Yeah.
And that's what I think hurt the movie is it spent so much time trying to deliver things that are member berries instead of just telling a story that was interesting. You know what I mean? And so I think if it wasn't beholden to the name Kraven the Hunter, it's actually kind of an interesting story. Like it's weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like
it had to. I mean, from like, if you look at it, like I do agree, the world building was a little better, and there, like, if you look at it from just like a fresh take on some mobster, gangster story, I could see it as being possibly okay. But as a Kraven, it's just like Ricky spent so long talking about how this isn't the Kraven that we know. Like, I just feel like when he sat down at the end with his fur on and he's looking at himself in the mirror, I'm just like, so like, is he looking at himself going, okay, my brothers decided to be evil, and I really was hoping he wouldn't, so I guess I'm gonna go hunt the spider. Like he's got this code where he's taking out bad guys the whole time, and now he puts on the fur, and is this the point where he becomes the guy that would literally go hunt a superhero?
Not only hunt a superhero, but also go take him, administer drugs to him, bury him alive, put on a suit, sure, looks exactly like him, go out into the streets in the rain, fight crime, and then go home to his wife and be like, what up? And just be creepy, just be generally creepy. Now, there's a lot of weird, crazy stuff Kraven does in those comics, and I didn't get any of that from this guy. And so I'm just tired of getting not the character, you know what I mean? Just like Morbius. Like, that wasn't Morbius I know. Like, that was weird. Like,
even if we were, like you said, if they were to announce that they're going to do the thing and did the 6, like, I'd go see it. But I don't know how they would chart the path from the character that we finished this movie with to the one that wants to murderize Spider-Man. Yeah, I don't know how I would be able to see them draw that line. And I would just sit there going into that movie going, so how are you going to convince me that Aaron Taylor Johnson's character that we put on the fur is going to kill this guy?
How rough was it that we had to get Madam Web in the 90s so that in the last minute of the movie she could be a super old lady?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
not that old.
She was like 20 years older with gray hair.
She had gray hair, yeah.
Yeah.
She was grayed up.
Grayed up with the glasses and the wheelchair.
Behind the girl.
Yes. Yeah, she had the cool chair.
Yeah. The chair that didn't require a joystick at all. But I'm just saying, like, we keep getting like not like, it's almost like the porn parodies, right? Like, not Batman or not this. Like, that's what we're getting. We're getting the porn parody versions of these characters.
We're getting the man bat when we want the Batman. we're not getting the versions that we're hoping for.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, thanks for telling us that story. I don't really. How does it relate to Spider-Man? Just go. Just like, And that's my problem. That's been my problem every time. If it's a DC one, it's like, how does it relate to the Joker? Or I mean to the Batman? Just I hate these villain stories just in principle, because they want to see how much they can milk out of us without giving us the thing we want. And I don't like that experiment. And I don't like that I have to be the person that sits here and talks about how much I dislike it and then still go and spend the money on it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like, I recognize that I have a choice in what I watch. And I'm choosing to do it because in a way I'm still entertained. I'm entertained by this conversation that we're having. You know, that's why we do it. Like, I like talking about these things and talking about how tone deaf sometimes Hollywood is about what we like. And by Hollywood, I really mean Sony. I mean Sony mostly, and to a lesser extent, I do mean Warner Brothers too. You know what I mean? Warner Brothers has given us a lot of poop, like a lot of poop over the years. And I think at least they know that. And so that's why they're trying to take steps to do something different. And with that said, I mean, we can end the Kraven talk and just briefly talk about Creature Commandos. It's the first official release in the James Gunn's new DCEU, but technically we've decided to backdoor in Peacemaker, most of it, and also Suicide Squad, the second movie, not the first one. Maybe possibly Blue Beetle, but not for sure. Don't know. Have no clue.
Kind of gross. We
it
talked
is,
about
right?
this in our chat, but like it makes it gross because obviously James Gunn directed both those movies or both those things, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm the new boss.
Peacemaker is essentially just the continuation of the Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But I mean, but he did direct both, like,
right,
full creative control of both things. To start a new thing, but then like shoehorn your old shit. A little gross to me. Like, it's
not clean, is what it is. It's not clean.
It's not, and
there's no
to
clean
be fair,
break.
like, I would feel better about it if he didn't do those other properties, or if he didn't do either of those movies or show. But something about it just feels like a little yucky to me.
I think I honestly, the only thing that feels yucky to me is like the premise that like we have to do everything with a clean break. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think we have to, but you're the one that said we got to. You know what I mean? Like, I think
exactly.
Like that's what I take issue.
And you
with.
could have brought in you could have just do the same show, have John Cena still play Peacemaker, Viola Davis still play Amanda Waller. You could still do that, and just have it be starting there. But to specifically tie in your old stuff, it's
But that said, I mean, we move past that because, like, right, essentially, Creature Commandos is Suicide Squad 2.0, right? It's like, it's like, oh crap, the government won't let us use people no more, but I got to work around. I can use monsters, and it's like, okay, Amanda Waller, you're nuts.
I kind of like that.
Like, you're really nuts, Amanda Waller, but I kind of love you for it, you know. And so the premise of the story is Wonder Woman's villain Circe, or Circe as they pronounce it in the show, has gone crazy, going around terrorizing some made up country, and they want to send these people out there to go and protect the princess of that country and defeat Circe. And so they send a bunch of monsters. But they also send them with Rick Flag Sr. in charge of them, because you always got to have a Rick Flag in charge of a Suicide Squad. Yeah. That's just the rules. But they call this one Task Force M for monsters, right? Instead. And so it's a bunch of zany characters that you've never heard of, and they're just really, they got Moxie Kid, and like that's literally the premise of all of James Gunn's movies lately, and that's it's kind of getting old. It's getting old, right? Like I think
this is the Count Guardians fourth movie. Peacemaker is kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
like it's the same story.
We're running on 6 or 7 here.
Yeah, and he's good at
pulled
it.
from some of his other movies before he Guardians and all of that too. So.
I'm not gonna knock him. He does it well, but like shit, yes. Nolan. Like if Nolan came out with 6 Batmans, I'm sure by the 6th one would be a little weird, right? Like,
no, I'd take it.
I don't know.
I'd take it.
Like you said, Dennis. Like these characters, I don't know. I don't know them. Yeah, I know. Waller. I know Flag a little. I don't know all of these.
I know of a Flag.
Monsters.
Yeah.
I mean, the real monster is Waller, but each of the characters, the way that they're kind of so far 3 episodes in, like the way they kind of spent a little bit of the second episode, was very focused on the bride. The third episode the second episode I think was more focused a little bit on the bride and GI Robot, and then they seem to be kind of introducing each character a little bit, getting deep into each character that and if they're going to do that each time, and it's going to be like we're going to get the ragtag group around somebody's central story, I think that delivery method works for me, because it's a little bit more focused on I'm very curious to know more about this character or whatever. But I think if they had done it, if it hadn't been more focused on delivering a character's sort of or 2 story per episode, I think I would start to feel a little bit more like that
fatigued, right?
We've been here, done that, a little bit. I think that shift changes that dynamic a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's why the first episode was like a big yawn fest for me.
Yeah,
but then
it didn't have that.
Every episode since that has started to pick up some pace for me, and
it's just a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it's going in a direction that I can be hopeful, but here's the big problem. It is not the absolute banger I needed it to be for the first thing.
It's a weird choice to start your new universe.
Yes,
and
even if it's not the start, Suicide Squad and Peacemaker are also
that
weird
makes
choices.
It weirder.
I think it should have started with Superman. I think like the thing is, there's no reason that this needed to come out now. It could have come out literally a month after Superman.
Yes.
To just say, here's something hopeful in DC, and this is where we're going, and here's some weirdness that you're going to get too. That would have been cool. But basically, you came at me with the weirdness. And I'm like, but where's the DC? Where's that DC that's supposed to take away the Justice League, Snyderverse taste and give me something fresh? And I think Superman is the character to do that.
The reason the Suicide Squad worked in the previous DC universe is because it was already an established universe of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all these things, and they're like, now let's get weird with it, right? And I'm totally fine with that. That's cool. Like, do you know how many decades DC existed before they let Alan Moore do Watchmen? The weirdest of it, like the weirdest of the weird. Like, and that book is like chef's kiss, but you need to like have an established pattern of storytelling before you can get weird with it. Because if you just start it at 11, then you have nowhere to go. You know what I mean? So I think that's the big problem.
The violence and tone of the show I think also adds to that. I'm not opposed to the hyper violence, but there's some parts of it that just feel a little too gratuitous.
Are we going to have that tone throughout all of the DC movies? Like, is Superman going to punch through somebody? Like, we're not going to have
again,
that.
I'm not like, I don't want to be clenching my pearls, right? I do enjoy a violent animation. I love Invincible. But like, okay, lingering guy with holding his organs, like,
there's a lot. There's a lot of organ holding in
it's like,
Amanda's.
And I watched this week's episode, the GI Robot bit with like his old Nazi trigger and are Themyscirs like people Nazis? Like, they can be shitty people, like shitty, but are they Nazis? I thought that was a little. No, the sons of Themyscira.
Yes. They're just like your typical like
Like, they're not Nazis. It's just Flag was just saying they are so that he would do the thing.
Yeah, so he would kill him, but they're basically just your typical they're not letting me have my rights. Everybody's taking all my my stuff, but he just basically told them like they're Nazis because he knew he would light them up. That was it. That was the reason.
That's weird. That's kind of gross to me. Like I don't.
Sure.
It's charged. It's using charged language like in a bad way, and it's.
But I think again, to the detriment of the show, I think this show is intentionally trying to show you how different Rick Flag Sr. is from Rick Flag Jr. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it requires you to
care more for these people.
But it requires you to go back and watch the other stuff. Yeah. He's a more human person, right? I think that's my problem with Rick Flag in the first Suicide Squad movie is he's like a freaking robot through that movie, right? Yeah. And then in the second one, they gave him a little bit more to work with, but then they kill him also. And you're like, oh my God, dude, like what's going on here? I think I want to be happy about this. I'm trying not to be a complaining guy, but like I do agree that I think Superman is what we need right now, and we're just taking this because this is the slop they're giving us, and it's not the home run that I was hoping for. It's like if the
MCU started with Guardians, it would have been weird.
It's almost like if the MCU started with Ant-Man Quantumania.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like that. It's that weird. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see what you're doing, but like MODOK's kind of different.
Yeah. I think that's what we're at right now. Is like because Guardians still, I don't know, it still somehow felt like we were in that Marvel universe in a weird way.
We were warmed up for Guardians, though.
Yeah, we were.
That oven was on preheat.
Yeah, but there's no warming up for Ant-Man Quantumania. That was weird in all the wrong ways.
I mean, even still, they did. There was 2 or 3 whole movies dedicated to like quantum realm lore,
and yet that movie is just bananas.
Weird.
But you get what I'm saying, though, right? We're jumping in at like a very like we're not. We haven't been kind of coaxed into this new universe yet.
But we were told at the beginning of the show.
We were told we were. But
remember those 2 things you already watched? They're part of this.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Like, going back to what I said about like, I wish it would have started with Superman. I feel like because that's the one they're actively, working on and everything. I feel like the only reason they didn't was because that's where the Snyderverse started.
Yeah.
And the Spider-Verse started with Spider-Man, Superman, and I feel like they didn't want to be like, well, we're starting again with Superman, so they literally were like, what's the most James Gunn kind of thing we can put out now while we're working on this other thing? But it didn't give us the starting feel of what that thing is that we're all expecting and anticipating.
I think I just figured out exactly what rubs me wrong about this. In the context of James Gunn feel. Mm-hmm. This feels safe. And normally James Gunn does not operate in a world that is safe, right? Like Guardians of the Galaxy was not safe. Right. When he did that, it was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then after the second one, it was so shocking, like how good those movies were. People were like, we got to get on Twitter and find some dirt on this guy because it's too much. We can't handle this guy. And then, like, it's just like he was edgy, and maybe some people thought he was too edgy. And so I don't think he's being edgy.
Lord, though.
I don't think he's being edgy anymore. You know what I mean? I don't think Creature Commandos has any real bite to it that I haven't seen before. Like, and I think that's what's really underwhelming for me. It's not that he's not a competent storyteller. Did I feel something when G.I. Robot got blowed up today or this week?
No.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cute, but at the same time, he's a robot, so like, probably just gonna put him together again. You know what I mean?
Who decided to put him in prison? Just take him apart.
No. So okay, good question. I just want to trace back to that. That was the most important single thing that happened in this entire show. We got established that this is a world that is comfortable acknowledging a robot as a man that can be tried as a man
Yeah.
and go to prison. That sets a precedent for a lot of things that can happen in this universe. And I thought that was really clever how they just kind of snuck it in there and just left and just let it be. And I was like, that's a court case that occurred in your universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like we saw Professor Ivo, who may or may not go on to make some Amazo or some Red Tornadoes and some other stuff. Like we saw a lot of things that deal with AI and stuff in this episode glossed over. But the one I'm not forgetting is you tried a robot as a person, as a human being, and sent him to prison for murdering Nazis. Okay, guys, your universe is officially unique, and I'm fine with that. That's, I think, why I've come around a little bit more. Episode 3 did some things to make me feel excited, mildly, but at the same time, again, I know I sound like a broken record, just like you guys. Should have started with Superman.
Yeah.
We should have started with Superman.
So I watched all 3 episodes back to back while I was doing some stuff around the house, and I think I had the advantage of kind of just getting all 3 of those stories given to me. So it was almost like a mini movie where it was like you said, Dennis. I kind of when GI Robot got destroyed, I was like, oh man, that sucks. Like same thing, they're gonna rebuild him or whatever. But I was like, oh, if you just left it with that story that you just gave me, that little slice of a story, that was cool.
Yeah,
like I felt like that was, I felt good with where that was. I definitely ended the episode going, I want 4 to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
So I would say because of that, I am hungry to see more of what this show is gonna do. But it doesn't make me hungry for the new Gunniverse that I was anticipating.
Yeah,
I think. Like I'm ready still. I'm still waiting to see that.
Yes,
agreed. I'm hopeful that we'll see it soon.
Agreed.
A trailer maybe next
week. Even 2 more episodes. I don't know. It could even be this show. We don't know.
Or at least give me more Waller or something. I don't know.
Well, just say that's why I say it could be this show, because they could give us more of that world building, like you said, like that court case, or you could introduce a few more things that could set up an interesting universe that you can build your big thing on.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Or maybe now that they've apprehended Cersei, they go back home, and now the mission becomes something else. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Well, they did. The previews for the next episode really did make it seem like that, because she basically tells, it ends with her telling them that they've doomed everything. Whatever she was doing, there's something we don't know yet that's going to potentially flip everything on its head.
I'm guessing it's a giant alien that's creating smaller baby aliens that are going to inhabit all the people of Earth. And oh wait, no, that would be the last 2 things James Gunn did.
Yes.
Never mind. Let's maybe not that thing. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Like we're one giant alien away from doing this story all over again.
We are, but we are also potentially could do something totally different.
Yeah.
If we because you didn't let us kill this princess, something not big alien is going to happen that could potentially be something that might be worth having a Superman or some other larger heroes come around for.
Yeah. I just want to know how it matters, I guess. So I'm that's unfortunate, because I'm not letting myself enjoy the ride because I want to know how it fits, and I should just be patient, and I will try really hard to be patient. But I think I'm just a little afraid that it's going to be a big alien again, and we're going to do the whole dance that we've already done twice. And so I want to put my faith in James Gunn that it's not going to be that, but.
Yeah, we'll see.
We will see.
I'm done with this.
3 more episodes or 4 more episodes?
I don't know, but I know we got the What If coming soon also, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we do. Is that
next week.
So next week we're talking about the next episode of Creature Commandos, and then starting on the 22nd, we get whole 10 days of What If.
We'll do 10. Whoa, Ricky just bounced.
Ricky,
I'm still here.
Peace out.
Whoa.
All right. Well, I guess our listeners didn't know that, so I just kind of blew that. But why? Okay. Well, let's. Why don't we say thank you to Ian for this extra long episode? Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
thanks for going to the movies to see the third crappy Sony movie this year with me. I appreciate it. It's fun. Hopefully, we can go see better movies in the new year.
I'll tell you what, if they ever do The Thing, I'll come back for the episode just to talk about The Thing. If we ever get the Spider-Man movie with all of them that we want, I'm coming back for that no matter what.
All right. He's locked in for that.
I'm locking in, yep.
And thanks to Ricky for still being here in audio, even if he's not here in video. We appreciate that too. I'm sure there's real reasons that we can't see him anymore. There he is.
Yeah, Ram.
Whoa, suddenly you're just covered in sweat. What's going on?
Hey, what happened back there?
No, you don't want to know.
Okay. But yeah, no, I it was fun, and I look forward to seeing how Creature Commandos goes. And I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I am very much looking forward to all of the cool content that's coming out in 2025 that we're going to be talking about. So this is going to be fun. But we still have a few more things this year, right? Like 2 more weeks.
Two more weeks of stuff.
We'll knock it out.
Power through. So with that, true believers,